In response to the Paris terrorist attacks, the hashtag Pray for Paris arose in social media, and there was a lot of critics, a lot of trolls saying, this is not a matter about praying, this is a matter about policy, about foreign policy, about Middle Eastern policy. But now there's an unlikely figure that joins the critics, and is no other than the Dalai Lama, Margaret. He came forward and said, we should not expect God to fix the problems that man created. And I quote, we cannot solve this problem only through prayers. I am a Buddhist and I believe in praying, but humans have created this problem and now we're asking God to solve it. It is illogical. God will say, solve it yourself because you created it in the first place. Harsh words coming from someone that he is defending the power of prayer indeed, but at the same time he's bringing some truth forward, that is, humans and human actions have created this problem.
He sounds, he's making sense to me, Jose, but at the same time, he sounds like a secular humanist. You wouldn't expect the religious authority this senior to say, maybe it's not prayer that would fix this. Perhaps you should get off your asses and just get to work. That's what I hear him saying. I don't like the fact, though, that he's undermining that prayer was this unifying force. I mean, in my own social media feed, you saw Muslims, Buddhists, Christians, even people that were agnostic doing the hashtag of Pray for Paris. I saw this everywhere. So that's the only thing about his comment that I don't like, is that he undermines the unifying force of that hashtag. At the same time, can you imagine the Pope saying something like this, or any other religious authority? Do you think he's making himself irrelevant?
No, I think that he's shifting. He's 80 years old. He's, these are the closing chapters in his life. He's been in exile for many, many decades. And he's been lately doing, statements that are, like you said, it seems like he's going farther away from a religious leader and becoming more of a spiritual humanist, if you will, where he actually has spoken to the fact that if the people from Tibet do not want the Dalai Lama to be the figure that represents, and it's an outdated figure, he's willing to abolish it, which is like just going at the root of the religion that he's a head figure for.
The first Dalai Lama was identified in the 15th century, 500 years of this, and this one, because he's 80, last question, I don't mean to be insulting at all with this, but is this a form of being senile this old, or does he realize that he's the spiritual figurehead of an entire movement's not the right word, but he represents millions of people. So
yeah, millions of people think that he embodies compassion and he's the spiritual compass of many that follows his advice. But I think that what is very important is that he is bringing a light that is not enough for you to hashtag something to be part of the solution. I think that he's calling for people to actually take a stance in the way that they can, in the way they live, because another quote that he said is that the 20th century was a very violent one. 200 million people die because of war in the 20th century, and this is trickling in the next century. And he's trying to avoid that. He claims that most of the people, it is not enough. Most of the people are aligned with good feelings, with loving the others, but that small percentage is short-sighted and is destructing. That's why there's suicide bombers, because they don't see the continuum. They just see the immediate response of their actions. So I think that he's calling for people to be more involved and not only, yes, we unify in spirit and in intention when we hashtag something and we add our, condolences to those who suffer, but at the same time, is that all that we need to do? Is that enough for us just to go and hashtag something to be part of the solution? I think that's where the Dalai Lama is heading at with his comments that it's not enough to pray. This is something that men created and men should fix it.